Yeah, just all around solid on both ends. I thought the defense got us going, and then we got into the open floor. We got some easy baskets, and guys did a great job of making the extra pass, and we had good rhythm shots off of that.
Well, what did you think about the defensive effort that you guys put forth in terms of just the start? I don't think any starter scored more than 16 points. Just what did you see in terms of?
Yeah, just tied together, and I thought a good aggressiveness on the ball, and then good help, and then great effort, a second and third effort. And that, when you're defending, Trey Young, it requires you to do more than one thing, and you got to fly around. And I thought we did that. And then I thought the rebounding was good. And then you're concerned about them because they're so disruptive defensively.
And kind of with that, it seemed like you guys wanted to force everybody else except Trey to beat you guys. I think Niang led the team in shots at one point. Just is that kind of what you're referencing to, and having to be tied together and making sure that?
Yeah, and we were concerned about Levert and Niang off the bench. And if you don't pay attention, they could do a lot of damage. So and that team is an outstanding offensive team, and so if you let your guard down at all, they can get 10 in a minute real easy.
And then offensively, I think every point in the first half you guys scored was either in the paint, a free throw, or a three. I guess, did you just like the quality you guys were getting?
Yeah, I thought I thought the transition was huge for us, and then I thought the playmaking, but not only the playmaking, the cutting, and oftentimes the guy who was making the cut, it created movement for us, and also created openings on the weak side, and those were the rhythm shots that we wanted.
When a guy like Josh Hart is only a rebound away from a triple-double, does that go in your mind whether you take him out?
Well, yeah, it does. And he had a terrific game, and obviously, but, like for me, that's a no-win situation because if I leave him in, he's going to be upset about that. If I take him out, he's going to be upset about that. So I said, what the hell, I'll take him out.
With the way OG is playing right now, obviously, the scoring numbers have been awesome for him the last however many games. Once Jalen is back, whether it's tomorrow or another day, obviously his style is going to have to change somewhat. Is there anything that he's done during this time with Jalen out that you feel like?
No, and the notion of all that stuff is just it's white noise. The game tells you what to do, So, whose shot is it in transition? The open man, right? So, and if there's two on somebody, whose shot is it, right? You have the responsibility as a primary scorer to make the right play. So, the notion that it has to be this way, that way, no, there has to be a willingness to sacrifice by everybody. The team has to come first. What's best for our team? What gives the team the best chance to win? And that's all everyone should be thinking about. They shouldn't be thinking about who's doing this, who's doing that. That's not the way this game works. If you care about winning, that stuff shouldn't matter.
I guess I mean less about who ends up getting the shot, and more about, for example, he's spending less time in the corners now.
He never spent exclusively that. Notion's a bunch of garbage. And I'll tell you another thing. I value the corners a lot more than most people because I know that's the most valuable spot on the floor, and so he's all over the floor, and that's the way he's scoring. That's the way everybody's scoring. So if you have a drive, pass, who's supposed to be in the corner, right? It's driving kick, and if you're cutting and you're moving without the ball, which is what you're supposed to do, right? If you push the ball up, your first responsibility is to create pace. Your second responsibility is to create movement, and everyone's supposed to read the man in front of them. So if you're reading the man in front of you and he cuts, then you replace in front, right? So that's the way this game works. So that's a bunch of excuse making, and that's the way I see it.
Tom, you officially passed Pat Riley for fourth place on the franchise wins leaderboard. I know you touched on it not too long ago, but is there any significance to that number?
No, and I think all the individual stuff, it's a byproduct of a team working together. So I've had a great team, and I've got great players. It's a great organization. So you share in all that stuff, as a group. As far as Pat Riley, he's unbelievable, probably the best to ever do it. And I was fortunate to be with Jeff, and Jeff I put up there with anybody. And so, and those guys had great impact on my coaching philosophy. So, and of course, Red Holzman and all the guys that have been here. It's an honor to be the coach here.
Do you look at coaching for you, yourself as part of Pat Riley's coaching tree?
Yeah, I'm a mutt. I've been on. Yeah, I've been around a lot of people that have had great influence on me. And not only, and obviously, the head coaches, but a lot of assistant coaches have had great impact on me as well. Like guys like Ron Adams or Brendan Malone. Those guys were phenomenal. I worked with Steve Clifford and Andy Greer, all those Jeff Nicks and Don Chaney. Everyone impacts you, and it's not just them. It's the people they work for. Like Brendan Malone worked for Hugh B. Brown and Chuck Daly, and Jeff had worked for, Pat Riley, Don Nelson, John McLeod, Rick Pitino, right? So you're stealing from everybody. So I think I felt I was very fortunate. Bill Musselman had great impact, Jerry Tarkanian. I've been around some of the all-time greats in the history of the game, and that's good fortune for me.
I think also, thank you so much. Just want to speak to or ask you about the efficiency you guys have on offense. I mean, as you guys are rounding the form, heading into the playoffs, you guys were unbelievably efficient tonight. What went into that, and how important will that be going forward as Jalen comes back?
Well, I think it's huge. I think, and to succeed in this league, you have to do it together. No one could do it. You can't win at the highest level in this league individually. You have to do it collectively. So everyone has to be a willingness to sacrifice. I think offense is about execution, right? So everyone has a job to do. You have to go out there and do your job, and you have to help each other. And then the game, are they blitzing somebody? Are they double teaming the post? Are they coming from the baseline on cat? And how can we take advantage of that? And how can we create advantages from that? And everyone works together and hits the open man, pass up a good shot to get a great shot. But that willingness to be unselfish and play for each other is huge. Thanks, Coach. Yep, thank you. Yeah.